and you'll have as I mentioned before, a YouTube video access to as well. So welcome everyone. We are live on Facebook and we are doing Freedom Friday with a beautiful Tami Goodman, and I'm so excited to have her with us today. Please share who you are, how we got connected, and just excited to have you here.
Yes, thank you. Well, I'm Tami Goodman, and I am the original mortgage girl. I branded that way back in 2003, and I'm currently working with Revolution Mortgage, and I have a branch in Knoxville, Tennessee that we opened a couple months ago, and absolutely loving it down here.
Excellent. And you have a pretty large company. That you're building, right?
Yes, we do. And Revolution Mortgage, it's a company that's very forward thinking. And the way that I actually met you and your husband was when we were buying your home. And I think I was the second lender on that. And
you were.
got through the process really quickly. And by being a little bit more cutting edge than maybe some companies are today, we're providing status updates. We're providing online applications. We're providing loan portals that you can upload your own documents by taking a picture, and you can log back in at any time, and everybody gets notified. The listing agent, the buyer's agent, the buyer, everybody gets notified when something moves along on the loan process. So it's pretty slick, and we have a really nice CRM system that we use as well. Keeps people in the know on what's coming up and wishing them happy birthdays, loan anniversaries, holidays, all kinds of good stuff.
Well, and we've had such wonderful conversations, and I want to give a shout out to our referrer, Christy, who referred us to you.
Yes.
And what a wonderful gift that was. And we are very, very thankful. And I'm literally pulled up your website just so people can go to it and see how easy it is just to click on apply, how easy it is to learn a little bit about you, and just simple things where you have an app, all the different aspects. And I love your testimonial, and the conversation we had yesterday, I really want to bring you back to about the red carpet experience. Tell me more about that.
Well, so, if you think about if you've ever had a really good experience, somebody's rolled out the red carpet for you, and let's just picture that you're going to the spa. And when you get to the spa, they have your favorite scent that they're going to do with the massage oil. And they're going to make your hair look exactly how you want your hair to look. And they do your makeup so that you feel the best about yourself. And that place that you're going to is 250 miles away. Would you keep going back if you went there and you felt that great because they laid out the red carpet for you? Yeah, you sure would. And I would drive 500 miles if I could feel that way, with an experience like that. And that's what we're kind of doing here is we're trying to give everybody that great experience, that red carpet treatment. So from the minute that we talk, and we kind of build that rapport. When they do the application, I kind of make what's not very fun a fairly fun experience. Nobody likes giving me tax returns and documents and their whole life story and almost their first child that was born. But I try to make it as fun as I can and as easy as I can. So I collect a lot of documentation up front and actually pre-underwrite people's files because so many times people will just do an application and I'm taking their information and not really knowing if it's what an underwriter is going to look at. So if someone tells me that they make X amount of pay bi-monthly, I don't know if that's salary. I don't know if that's hourly. I don't know if there's commission. I don't know if there's bonus. I don't know if they're self-employed. So there's so many different things that go into the mix. So whenever I get a referral from a real estate agent or a financial advisor or a past client or a friend or family member, first thing I'm doing is I'm asking them a lot of questions. I'm getting their application, and then I'm saying, okay, now that I've had this information, I'm going to send you a list of documents that I need. And once I get those documents, then I'll be able to complete my review, and then I'll be able to issue that pre-approval letter. So what that does is it actually is a pre-approval that's a pre-underwrite that will allow you to feel confident when you're out shopping for a new home. So when you do find that new home, you're going to know what your purchase price range is to keep you within your payment goal. And that's one of the most important questions that I ask is what's a comfortable monthly payment for you? Because when you're getting pre-approved, you may be able to afford on paper a whole lot more than what your budget would call for. So, if you want to be able to still have some fun after you buy a house, you have to tell me what your budget is, and then I'll say, okay, here's your purchase price range, looking in the area that is your target area. And it's worked really well. So we get all that hard stuff out of the way, and then I say, hey, here's my app with the mortgage calculator on it. You can run payments at any time that you're looking at the MLS. Middle of the night when you can't sleep and you're scrolling through homes and you find one that you like, you're already going to know what your interest rate is. You're already going to know how much your down payment is. Really, all you're going to update on there is just what the property taxes are, what the purchase price is. And boom, you can run those payments. Or if you want to talk to me once you really find that house, I can put together an itemized fees worksheet for you that's specific, and we'll tell you how much you can potentially negotiate for seller paid closing costs. And I just try to make it as easy for the buyer as well as for the agent who's helping them find a home, because when they're going to go and negotiate a deal, they want to know how much closing costs, prepaid to new escrow setup is, and what the maximum is, because it's different for seller paid closing costs for conventional financing with less than 10% down, or up to 20% down. It's 3%, 6%, 9%, depending on how much down payment for a conventional loan. And a VA loan is only 4%, and an FHA and a USDA can go to a 6% seller concessions. And I don't expect anybody to remember that because it's confusing. But if I can do that all up front and put it in a format that everybody has something to reference, and when they get to that point of, okay, we're ready to write now, we already know what they're going to make the offer on. So I try to make it as easy for everybody.
And Tami, I want to give you a heads up as you go to look at the recording later. There's a little bit of delay in your actual, everything you're sharing is valuable and is coming out perfectly. Your video is a little bit delayed. So when you go back to look at it, we'll give you a heads up on that. And it may just be the time of day. And I'm sure there's a lot of Zoom video happy hours going on right about now, right? At least on the East Coast, right? It may be happening even earlier on the Pacific Coast. Who knows, right?
That's right. Very true.
And yet, I wanted to, a couple things that you use in your terminology that I really want to compliment you on, that we got to personally experience. And I really am thankful for you to take the time in the midst of all you've got going on to share with our community, to let them know you're available to walk through the approach, walk through, yes, you got a lot going on, you're building a team, and yet you want to help people discover how they're going to share their story with the underwriter, because you've used that terminology over and over again. And I tell people all the time, after we went through what we did in the process and then moving to the second, I was a little hesitant. And you're like, oh no, I'm just going to tell the story. We're going to get it handled. And everything you said, every process you did, everything aligned perfectly, everything closed on time, everything just amazing. The process that you went through, and you truly just did that. You shared their story in the process, and you set it up so where it didn't take a whole lot after the fact. And I really want to compliment you that. And I know that some of the people, when we commented on that, were curious how they could work with you to do that.
Yeah, well, as a loan originator, it is my job to tell your story. And when I can tell your story and I have all my documents in a row and I know all the background, I can write a summary to the underwriter to explain. So if there's something that's a little bit different, I can explain that. And if it fits within the guidelines, we're going to move forward if it makes sense and fits into the guidelines. So, a lot of times what will happen is people may not want to tell me things up front. It's always found out at some point. We are like the biggest super sleuths in the world, and everything comes out in a fraud guard or a title search or on a credit report. So it's always best to just be honest up front. And if we know all the facts, we can put a plan together, whether that's for a purchase within the next 30 days or if that's for a purchase within the next 6 months or 12 months. But if we can formulate a plan and I can tell your story and you tell me your story first, and then I put it all together into an underwriting perspective, the underwriter will say, oh yeah, that totally makes sense. Scratch it off the list and we move on.
And what a concept, right?
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
And that's something else you shared as a coach and as an individual that trains in this industry for so many years. As we talked about, your systems are very methodical, and there's a value in that methodical process, right? And,
for sure.
And you've learned over the years, right? That takes a lot of the guesswork out, right?
Well, it does. And if you can have duplicatable processes, and they'll change a little bit, but if you have the same checklist that you use and you're putting the same documents into the system, in terms of, do we have a CRS where we can find out exactly what year the house was built and how much the property taxes are and when was the last transfer of that property? That's one thing that I can scratch off the list. And I go through a whole checklist every single time. And if something's missing, I'm not going to submit my loan file until I've checked everything off that list. By having the duplicatable processes for communication is important too. So not just documentation, but keeping people posted that, hey, thank you, I received your application. They know that they've done it and they've clicked it and I've received it. Here are the documents that I need from you. I need them back in this time frame. They have a task and they have a deadline. And then when they're sending things back, when we're submitting for processing and underwriting review, those notifications are going out as well. And your appraisal's been ordered, your appraisal's been received, you have conditional loan approval. So those communication points are so critical for both the consumer and also for the real estate agents, because we all have one target, and that's the closing date. And a lot of times I hear, you know, it used to be when I would talk to real estate agents way back in the day, I'm like, what's the most important thing to you? Oh, the interest rate. It's not that anymore. Now you say, what's the most important thing to you? The communication. As long as I know where things are, then I'm good. And we're really, really strong in that. We have a lot of automated emails that are going out and text messages to just make sure that everybody is in the loop. And it's great. We have systems set up that people can text with us and they can email with us. They can call us. Any form of communication, if they have a question about one of those status updates, it just makes it go really smoothly.
And it's so powerful. I cannot tell you, having been in the business for so long, somebody can promise something and not deliver. And that is even more devalued than saying, this is where we're at and this is what's happening, and communicating that, right? There's just such a big commitment and benefit there. So I love that you recognize, and you've said that over and over again, communication. And you're human, just like all the rest of us, right? And we all have life happening and, you know, all that madness. So I'm not going to require you to be at perfection, okay? In the same aspect, I love that you have a huge commitment to that factor. And that's what I wanted to share with our audience. So last two questions.
Yes.
The first one is, if for somebody that's been going through, as you said, you've been doing this for a long time, what would you, we have a lot of business individuals that are listening. We're in the middle of a unique season. What would you give as a tidbit of encouragement and just, you know, what you've learned and what's keeping you focused on staying purposeful moving forward?
Well, I'll tell you, it is, it's a historical time that we're in right now. And with COVID-19, things have changed in the lending industry here, especially for our government loans. It's really changed. So a lot of people that I had pre-approved prior to COVID-19, I could do a credit score all the way down to a 580 credit score. And right now I'm at a 660 for some government loans. So it's been really challenging. And the problem is not getting them approved, but the problem is being able to offer a rate. So lenders are really increasing the rates on the government side. If you have less than really a 680 credit score, we can do it at a 660. But if you can get to that 680 credit score requirement, you're going to be able to still do a government loan. I think that this is probably going to loosen up probably in July. I think we still have a little bit of time to wait before it goes kind of back to our new normal. But I think that the credit score requirements are going to lessen a little bit. And not everybody has the same guidelines of a 660 or a 680 or a 640. It's lender specific. So, but for us, we're at a 660 minimum right now. For conventional financing, for first-time home buyers, we have as little as 3% down. For a first-time home buyer, as little as 5% down for a subsequent buyer. And then refinancing right now is going crazy. I just locked a loan this morning at 3.125% interest rate. So they are absolutely coming down. When this first hit, it was literally one day I was quoting a rate that was about 3.25. The next day, I thought I wasn't entering things in the system correctly. It went up to 4.25 overnight. And then it increased again 5 days later. And I thought, what in the world is going on? And then all of a sudden we get the stay-at-home order. And so we had a lot of things that changed, but we're finally getting back to work now, going back to the office slowly but surely, and the interest rates are coming down as well. So it's a good time to refinance if you want to maybe shorten your term, if you want to get rid of your mortgage insurance, if you want to take some cash out of the equity of your home to do some home projects or pay down some debt. It's a wonderful time to do the refinance, and also a great time to be shopping because everybody's had time to be at home and to clean out their house. And now they can put it on the market and they can sell it. And so I think, I think there's going to be a ton of activity in the market this summer coming up. And I mean, this week alone, it's gone bonker crazy with pre-approvals and people writing offers. And it's a good time to be in the real estate industry, that's for sure.
Someone just asked me the other day, how's it real estate got impacted by this? And I said, anyone that's still working and being focused and productive, they're going to probably have the best year they've ever had in quite a long time. I mean, we advise people to be safe. We advise people to be conscientious and meet people where they're at. I mean, everybody's digesting and processing what's happening in a different way. And in the same aspect, we have an opportunity to serve and to keep people moving forward. So thank you for sharing that inspiring news. You can serve multitude of areas. You've got connections in many areas, so it doesn't hesitate to reach out to you. Is there anything that I didn't forget to or forgot to ask you? Anything you want to make sure we share?
Well, our branch is in growth mode. So if there are any loan officers out there that would like to come on board, I would love to talk to you. I'm also looking actively for a loan officer assistant right now, and I'm going to be looking for a processor as well. So yeah, if you want to join a wonderful team, we have a great atmosphere here. Everyone's nice to each other. Everyone gets along, and we really, truly love helping each other. So we have meetings a couple times a week to do a pipeline review. Every morning we have a 30-minute get together so we can hit all of our hot deals that we have to get through the process, or we have to check off our list for that day. And it's really a team environment, and is going to really, really be growing this year in the Knoxville area. But we're all over. We're growing tremendously. We're the 18th branch for Revolution Mortgage. They're based out of Columbus, Ohio, and I'm licensed in Columbus, Ohio. I'm originally from there and still do quite a bit of business in Ohio and in Tennessee. And we're expanding as a company into multiple states. So you're going to see a lot of different areas with Revolution. But you know, join the revolution. Come experience all the great mortgage with Revolution Mortgage. We love the brand. I have my shirt on.
I saw that.
Yeah,
love it.
It's kind of a cool shirt. I was wearing it the other day, and someone asked me where I got it. I was like, well, not in a store, but if you come do a mortgage, you can get a shirt.
Excellent. Love it. I noticed it immediately when I was doing some research on your site. So I was like, and then I saw you wearing it, and I was like, go girl. Love it.
Well, the whole Revolution brand, it's kind of a cool concept, and we're really trying to get away from being like your typical bank where you go in and you do a mortgage and you wear a suit and you meet with this person that's just collecting your information. I mean, we really are trying to brand this as a lifestyle. Many, many people buy homes, and the lifestyles are changing. And a lot of people don't want to have a lot of personal, like one-on-one, let's meet and get together. So we have to really kind of move with that too. So we do a lot of Zoom meetings with customers. We do a lot of text messaging, a lot of emailing. It's very, very tech savvy here. And we've spent a lot of money making it tech savvy so that you know, we're covering all bases. I love meeting with people face to face as well. I can't wait actually until this is completely lifted and I get back to face, but we're moving along with the times just like everybody else is, and trying to stay on that cutting edge, trying to create a really light, airy, friendly. We want to be the friendliest mortgage company that you've ever worked with. And that's just our goal. Just be a normal person, be kind to people, and have a good experience.
And you more than deliver that. So I can speak from actual experience. So and
you guys were so easy to work with. I really enjoyed it.
We were very thankful. So again, thank you for taking the time. I promise you we attempted to stay under 20 minutes. So we are going to say goodbye and happy weekend to everyone. And thank you again for your time. We'll end just right now. Unless there's anything else you want to make sure.
No, I just want to thank you so much for the opportunity, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and join Team Revolution.
Great job. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, Tami.
Bye.